What's going on, everybody? My name is Paul. Thank you for joining me here at All In today. So today we are going to be doing a review of the Bird Box. Everybody's been asking me, hey, where is that Bird Box review? You've read the book once, you listened to the Audible version once, and you've watched the movie twice. You are the know-it-all when it comes to Bird Box. Where is this review? Well, it's finally here. The funny story is I've actually tried to record this video probably about 5 or 6 different times, and I could not settle on how I wanted to do it because, like I said, I wanted to do a kind of a versus type thing where it's the book versus the movie, but I just don't think that's going to play out. It's going to be too long of a video. It sounds like a book report. We're not going to do that. But I will say right off the bat, I love Bird Box the book. I read it and it really resonated with me. It stuck with me, and I think about it often. So when I saw that they were doing a movie of it, I was like, I want to get excited. I do. I want to get excited, but I also know how badly they can mess it up a lot of the times. There's some times where a movie will come out, based on a book like The Shining, and it's good. It's really nothing like the book, and they change the characters a lot, but it's still a great movie. The Shining is actually one of my favorite books, and I really do like the movie. But then you have another book series that I really enjoyed called The Maze Runner, and then the movies were just utterly terrible. I mean, they just shit all over. They didn't just shit the bed. They shit all over the bed, all over the walls. Like it was just nothing but shit everywhere.
Shit everywhere.
There's shit everywhere! Damn it! There's shit on the windows! Oh my god! My house is full of shit! He shit everywhere! Look what he did! He shit all over the wall!
That's all it was. I was not a big fan of it. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about Maze Runner. I'm going to forget that it even existed. Bird Box, the movie, I think is somewhere in the middle. Like sometimes I get that directors want to have their own interpretation or even change things from the book. Like, well, I think this is how the book should have gone. And that's exactly what they did with Bird Box. The director, I mean, she definitely had a lot of love for the book, but I think that some things happened. I think overall the book was a little bit too sad for her. Like it was just too much, and so she wanted to make it a little bit happier, a little bit easier, and so it ended up being a watered down version of the book, a safe version of the book, something easy, something more digestible, I'd say. Because the book did not hold your hand, did not pull punches like I say that the movie did. So first off, the characters. We're introduced to Mallory, who is played by Michael Jackson, which I'm really glad to see he's back in movies now. It's been a while. I don't think I've seen him in a movie since, like, what was it, Scary Movie 3 that he was in. So I'm glad to see that he's back. I think he did a fantastic job, obviously. So we have Mallory and her sister, who should be Shannon, but is named Jessica for some reason in this movie. In the book, they actually live together. Mallory, no, you don't even know that Mallory's pregnant right off the bat. She's like thinking that she is, and it's because she got knocked up by this whole one-night stand thing. In the movie, she's looking like a beluga whale. We know she's pregnant, and it was from her ex who used to live with her. Something that in the book you kind of realize, like, I get why she doesn't want this baby. A, it's a baby. Don't want it. B, it's this guy that she doesn't even really know. It's a one-night stand. This kind of sucks. The dad's not in the picture. So that was a little change that I was like, why even change that? But whatever. So in the book, these two, the sisters, live together, and they end up finding out she's pregnant by going and getting a pregnancy test, and then shit slowly starts going crazy. It takes a couple months before things really ramp up. They're secluded in their own house. Mallory's, I'd say, about 2 months pregnant or somewhere at this point. Her sister looks outside. That's the end of that. So in both versions, of course, the sister dies off. It's just a little different because in the movie, she's at that house with Tom and them from the beginning. In the book, she actually has to drive her way to the house. And it's important. That's an important distinction. Because in the book, she has to do mostly everything on her own. In the book, she is a bad bitch. She doesn't need anybody else's help. Of course, you know, being pregnant, it's a little bit of a handicap right there, but she has to learn how to survive in this world, and she has to do everything that is necessary. In the movie, not really. Her going down that river is the toughest part. And I guess we should talk about that. The movie and the book take place during quote unquote present day, her going down the river with her 2 children, boy and girl. They have to make it down the river in order to get to a safer community. And it goes back and forth before the kids, after, you know, during the kids, pretty much. When the outbreak is first happening to when it's already been 5 years later and the outbreak has been going on for a while. So, and that is one of my favorite things. You can either do it well or you can totally mess it up, because I get confused very easy, especially when I'm reading a book. I'm like, wait, what timeline are we in? What's going on here? But Bird Box does it very well. And of course it helps visually during the movie. So, and actually talking about visually during the movie, that's one of the things that when I read a book, the reason I'm watching the movie is because I want to see these things, these events, these characters that I grew to love in the book, these events that are crazy and I want to see happen in a movie, I want to see them in the movie. So when you cut all that out, like, you're taking everything that everybody who knows what the Bird Box is, because that's a chunk of the audience that you're appealing to, is the people who read the book, like 50 Shades of Grey. Everybody that's going to watch those movies probably already read the book. Harry Potter, everybody that's going to watch those movies probably read the book. I'd say the majority. Of course, there's some people who just watch the movies, which is fine. But you have to appeal to these people as well. This is going to be a majority of your people. Bird Box doesn't do that. Bird Box cuts out all that stuff that made the Bird Box good and just made it another kind of easy to digest post-apocalyptic movie with monsters. That's another point that I want to get to real quick, is the monsters. They were referred to as creatures in the book, and we didn't know where they came from. I pretty much think somebody had a good assumption in the book that two dimensions collided together, and so now these are beings that we can't comprehend, and so when we see them, our mind can't handle it, and it makes us go crazy. The monsters don't know that they're doing this to us. The creatures aren't out whispering in our ears, sounding like our lost loved ones, or making us see things to kill ourselves. That's not what they do. In fact, they're not malevolent like they are in the movie. They're benevolent. They're just there. They're just, hey, I'm in a new place and I'm just here. We don't know how big they are, how small they are, but we do know that they're not something that's evil, really. And that was one of the things I hated about the movie. It's just another post-apocalyptic monster movie. It's not going to make you think, because they want it to be a thriller. Like, oh, well, you know, if we don't make these monsters kind of scary, which they were in the book, but for a different reason, the situation was scary. The monsters weren't really scary. It was the situation that these people were in is what was so terrifying. The movie is like, we need to make this scary. We need to have these monsters coming at them, but we can't ever show these monsters. But when that wind picks up and when those trees start rustling, ooh, they're going to be scared. Ooh, we're going to get them. It doesn't really work. It just doesn't. But anyways, so that's about the monsters. Let's go back to the characters. In the book, we have our character Tom. Everybody loves Tom. I liked him actually in the book and the movie. But in the book, he's described as having sandy blonde hair, blue eyes, a little bit of a beard, not too much, more stubble than anything. In the movie, yeah, they got it pretty much right. That's him dead on. Definitely. That's the Tom that I imagine. That's him. Also, they said he kind of looks like a teacher. I'm glad that in this one he's a construction worker that used to fight in Afghanistan. I don't know why. Really changed that, because it was important that he was a teacher, because that is what he does for Mallory through the entire book. He is teaching her. She is learning from him how to survive in this environment, with the questions to ask. Like, that it's okay to take risk, but you have to think before you jump. You can't just jump blindly. Tom takes a lot of risks, but he doesn't just jump in because he's smart. He's learned. He knows these things. He's not just some tough character, because he's not. He's not a fighter. He's a teacher. And more importantly, in the book, he was a father who lost his daughter. In the movie, he's a he's a construction worker who lost a foreman. I mean, that's not really a tragic backstory, but okay, I guess we'll go with that. So, and the other thing that I can't stand when it's a forced love story. In the book, there is no love story between Tom and Mallory. That doesn't happen. They are housemates. She respects Tom. She knows that he's the leader of this household. She knows that she needs him. She needs Tom to survive. They all need Tom to survive. In the movie, he's there because, they're eventually going to fall in love. He's going to rub her belly, ooh, look at this cute baby belly that I love to rub for some reason, even though I don't know you. I never really got that. Why do we want to rub pregnant ladies' bellies? What do we get from that? What do they get from that? I personally never saw a pregnant belly and like, you know what I want to do? I don't know that lady, but I want to put my hand on that belly and just rub it. And that's just always been really weird to me. Anyways, Tom doesn't do that in the book. Tom never talks about wanting to rub her pregnant belly. A little weird. I think the old director, she might have some kind of weird kink going on, but I'm not here to judge. I guess I am here to judge, but judge the movie. I'm not here to judge Tom or the director, just the movie. But anyway, so throughout the book, Tom is teaching Mallory how to survive. He's teaching her survival instincts. He's teaching her, how to grow in this environment. And that is so important because, like I said before, Mallory already was a bad bitch, but now she's becoming an even badder bitch. Probably the baddest bitch who has to survive through the apocalypse with these children. And in the book, because it doesn't explain why until almost the end, but when it's present day, she doesn't have Tom like she did in the movie. Like, she didn't raise these kids for 5 years or 4 years with Tom and have him to help her the whole way. She had to do this on her own since the babies were born. Like, the day the babies were born, she was alone. She had to do all this shit on her own. And that was the other thing that was great about the book, is the mystery, the jumping back and forth. Present day, these characters aren't here. But, back then she was with all these characters. What happened to these characters? And I remember reading the book, like, I literally didn't know. Well, I don't want to give too much away, just in case you read the book or watch the movie. But there are twists and turns that you find out with a Hello Kitty doll halfway through the movie that you don't find out until the very end of the book. Like, this twist happens. Or what happened to the other housemates? Are they, like, the whole time I was like, well, is Tom already down the river and and he's waiting on her because he had to go and make sure it was safe? Because she finds out, she gets the phone call from Rick the day that she has the babies. In the movie, it doesn't happen until, like, way later, like until like 5 years later or whatever. So it's these little things that they change from the book to the movie that really just take away everything. Like, it just takes away everything that I loved about the book and that made the book great. And looking at other people's reaction to the movie, some people really like it, and I get that. But some people are watching it and it just seems like another apocalypse movie. And that's so sad. That, like, sucks, especially in a year. Hey, we can't not talk about it. A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place was far and away a better movie than this. Even though I think the book, I actually like the book version of Bird Box, I like better than A Quiet Place. But I mean, the Quiet Place movie, there was no book. You know what I mean? You know the comparison that I'm getting. And that's sad. That is something that that got taken away from this. And so if I was the author, I would probably be a little bit upset. But I'm not. He's probably getting paid. He's getting paid big money now, and I'm not. So maybe that's why he's happy about it. But anyways, so one of the other things is the kids. The kids in the movie aren't really anything spectacular. They're just these kids that sit here and be quiet most of the time and maybe don't listen to Mallory every once in a while, maybe fall out of a boat, but that's really all they're there for. They're there to elicit feelings from you. Not in the book. In the book, she trains these kids since they were born pretty much to survive in this new world. Like, their hearing skills are unsurpassed. Like, it's almost unhuman what they're able to tell just from their hearing. And that was crucial in the book. She told them, you cannot sleep on this journey. I need your ears this entire time. And she's constantly asking them questions. Boy, girl, What do you hear? What is that? How far is that from us? Because she has trained them to be this. She has trained them well. And the whole time she's like, am I a good mother? Am I being too harsh on them? But it ends out working out. In the movie, it's just her going down in a rowboat like, hey, you know, it's a long journey though. 48 hours. Hey, that's a long journey. And that's pretty much the most you have to worry about. Besides the split in the river that they have to go to, which in the movie, for some reason, nobody looks, but yet she does choose the right way, and it never explains why. Even though in the book, she does have to look. And that's a crucial point, because that was a leap of faith, and how she knew that she had to do whatever it took. And so that's why she looked at that bend in the river, but in the movie she doesn't. They just take away, they just neuter this movie so much. They really do. And it's a good movie, I guess, like if you're just gonna sit down and watch it, but it is just another apocalyptic like monster movie. There's no you know, nothing to hold on to. There's no nutrients. It's all lean meat. There's no fat to hold on to. There's nothing from the Bird Box that made it unique. It is just, it's a watered down version of A Quiet Place is pretty much what it is. And that's sad. That really is upsetting because of how good the book was. And it happens sometimes. So anyways, let's go ahead and throw this up. I'll say the Bird Box, the movie, I'll give it 5 Stanley Kubrick Shinings out of 10. That's about as high as I can go with it. It was just so middle of the road. You know, I think maybe if you watch it without ever having read the book, then maybe you'll get a little bit more out of it. But I really doubt it, because there's a lot of these movies out here. It does nothing different. Like this movie, Bird Box, doesn't differentiate itself from 100 other apocalyptic, you know, monster movies. It doesn't. They don't do anything new with the monsters like they do in the book. They don't do anything new with the characters like they do with the book. They don't do anything new. But, you know, it's a good movie. It's worth a watch. It's on Netflix. I mean, it's free. Everybody has Netflix. So you're not losing anything except for 2 hours and 5 minutes from watching it. So, but yeah, that's the end of that. If you like the video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. If you've read the book and watched the movie, let me know what your comparison is. If you've only watched the movie or only read the book, let me know what you think of each one separately. You know, I would love to have a discussion. I've been trying to have a discussion about this book for forever, and now everybody's watched the movie, and I just feel so cynical because I'm like, you know, it's not as good as the book, blah, blah, blah. And nobody wants to hear that, and I know nobody wants to hear that. So that's why I'm making a video about that. Me rambling for, you know, 20 minutes or so about how the movie and the book was nothing alike. But it is whatever. Seriously, I appreciate it, you guys. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.